everyone, Amy here. Step 4 of the process in Sprintax will ask you various questions about potential expenses that you can offset on your tax return. The first one will ask you questions around whether or not you have paid any student loan interest during the tax year. In this case, we are asking whether you have paid any interest on a qualified student loan. A qualified student loan is a loan you took out solely to pay qualified higher education expenses for education provided during an academic period for an eligible student. If you have indeed paid interest on your student loan, you will typically get a Form 1098-E with which that total interest paid will be outlined in box 1 of that form. You'll see at the very bottom we have outlined the total interest that has been paid from Form 1098-E in box 1. If you haven't paid any interest on a student loan, you can select No as an option, but if you have, this is how you insert it on Sprintax. We will also ask you if you have paid any charitable contributions during the tax year, as it may be possible to offset some of this on your tax return. If you have indeed paid a charitable contribution, you can outline it on Sprintax. In this case, we have outlined that we have paid a charitable contribution by check or cash of $200. You will also be asked to select the type of organization that you paid this charitable contribution to. There are various options from which you can select, depending on what type of organization you have made the contribution to. Please note that you will need to keep records of these contributions that have been paid. So, if you have a receipt or a bank or a credit card statement, we definitely advise that you keep these at hand in a safe place. Further on this process, we will also ask if you received a 1095-A form which is related to health insurance payments. Mainly non-residents and international students and scholars will typically receive 1095-B or 1095-C forms, which usually can't be used on a non-resident return. But in limited circumstances, you may receive a 1095-A form, and if you have, you can use this alongside your tax return. What we will ask on Sprintax for you to do is to complete the process on Sprintax without the 1095 information. And when you have finalized your account on Sprintax, email your 1095-A form to hello@sprintax.com, and our offline team will include this information on your tax return and update the tax return with 1095-A information. If you haven't received a 1095-A form, you can select No and proceed on to the next stage.